Hello and welcome to Groddnpotatoes. Today, we will be listing 10 insane movie facts you didn't know about. Number 1. In the Taiwanese version of Curious George 2, Follow the Monkey, the man with the yellow hat was changed to wear green attire. This is because in Taiwanese culture, yellow symbolizes infertility and slothfulness, whereas green is often worn by the elders, symbolizing strength and community. Unfortunately, only 30 copies of this version of the movie were ever sold, hence making it very difficult to find any images. The reason for the cancellation is unknown. When asked about it, the president of Taiwan simply responded, "No comment." Breaking Bad originally wasn't supposed to be about drugs. According to director Vince Gilligan, Bryan Cranston showed up on the first day of set with a suspicious-looking bag, and he later caught him trying to sell weed to his fellow actors. Upon this, Vince pulled Bryan aside, and they decided to tweak the premise of the show somewhat to include drugs. Number 3. SpongeBob SquarePants was based off of a real person. Back in World War II, there was a fry cook working for the U.S. Navy named Turvin McGinnis. Here we have some colorized images of him preparing fries for his comrades. And on the right, of course, was his boss, Gary Krabland, also known as Mr. Krabs. If a certain amount of kills were not made of the Germans, he would refuse to pay any of his employees. He was known to be a very greedy man, but not a heartless one. Gary Krabland was known to go out to the front lines to feed the soldiers, venturing into no man's land to provide the burgers that Turvin McGinnis served. Even the Germans were aware of the deliciousness of Turvin McGinnis's burgers. There were at least 28 known instances of German soldiers switching sides just to be able to get a taste of Turvin's delicious burgers. Interesting contrast to SpongeBob SquarePants is that Turvin McGinnis would often carry around sponges. Due to the nature of the war, Turvin McGinnis was a very troubled man, and so his best friend was his pet starfish. Turvin McGinnis also had a pet squid that did not like him. Whenever he tried to feed the squid, it would squirt ink at him. Turvin was so upset by this that he eventually decided to make the most serious choice a man can make in 1935. Rest in peace to Turvin McGinnis and war hero Gary Krabland. Number 4. Jurassic Park didn't use real dinosaurs. Contrary to popular belief, director Steven Spielberg did not have his hands on any authentic dinosaur DNA. And despite searching far and wide, visiting many different countries around the world in search of it, he ultimately opted to use a mix of CGI and very realistic animatronics. I wonder if the movie we know and love today would have been much different if he had gotten his hands on any authentic dinosaur genetics. Number 5. Club Penguin had anti-LGBTQ plus policies. In 2013, the developers of Club Penguin hired professional gunmen to create Club Penguin accounts and go in anonymously onto different Club Penguin servers, trying to track down and eliminate any gay penguin behavior using special weapons that were provided to them by the developers and programmers. Number 6. There was a canceled Disney Club Penguin movie that was going to come out in 2015. It was going to be a rated R movie, and it was going to be live action. Ezra Miller was going to play a random blue penguin who would follow his crush around in the city, trying to win her affection, and eventually would come across Rockhopper's ship. And Rockhopper would have been played by Dwayne, at that time, just Dwayne Johnson. In fact, people knew he was going to be playing Rockhopper, and that is how he got the name Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. The villain of the movie was going to be a polar bear who would throw snowballs at maximum velocity, similar to bullets, thus eliminating many of the main characters. The violence was a bit much considering that the main viewership was likely to be children. And so the movie was scrapped in 2016, halfway through development. Number 7. Planet of the Apes was actually a documentary. Many people think of Planet of the Apes and imagine a fictional movie taking place in the future, when in reality it was the work of an independent German filmmaker who went out into the jungles to make observations about the living conditions and found that a group of apes had captured many humans and had also learned to communicate. After finding out what had happened, the government refused to allow the footage to be published as is, and so it had to be rearranged in order to appear as a fictional movie. Years later, scientists returned to the site and nuked it on 2 different occasions, leaving behind what is now known as Chernobyl. SpongeBob was supposed to be voiced by Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman voiced many, if not most, of SpongeBob's lines in the first 3 episodes of SpongeBob. However, shortly before release, he had a falling out with the producers of the show to such a great degree that they felt it was necessary to change voice actors entirely. In lieu of Morgan Freeman departing from the project, they had to quickly switch to Tom Kenny, thus resulting in SpongeBob's character changing from a grave, masculine character into the charming goofball that we know and love today. It is said that Morgan Freeman still refuses to watch SpongeBob. Number 9. Up's dark original ending. Originally, in the early versions of Up, it was said that Russell and the old man were going to venture with the balloon house into the depths of hell in order to save his wife. In a dark turn of events, the old man would have been murdered by Satan himself, and the boy Russell was to be violated by a demon. This would have resulted in the movie's name being changed to Down. Number 10. Club Penguin's canceled World Trade Center party. As you all know, Club Penguin has many party events that they have done, sometimes for different seasons or different holidays. However, one event never made it to the limelight. Many people are not aware that Club Penguin also had 2 World Trade Centers in-game, and they were going to have a World Trade Center party. At the same time as the World Trade Center attacks in New York, Al-Qaeda launched a secondary attack in Club Penguin during the World Trade Center party, terrorizing thousands of penguins who were present at the moment. Sadly, these events were glossed over by the actual events taking place in New York. Many users of these penguins still live on to tell the story. After the event, Club Penguin went on to cut off all ties with Al-Qaeda. Thanks for watching, everyone, and make sure to stay tuned for even more movie facts in the future. This is Chip, and thank you for watching Groddnpotatoes.